Welcome to A New Way to Museum. I'm Dr. Reese Barrick, the director of the Sternberg Museum, and I'm here with Alicia Gady. She's our naturalist, and she takes care of all the animals, and so that's why she gets to have this fun-loving water monitor named Raptor.
This is Raptor.
And I have
Jason.
The
bull snake.
Jason the bull snake, not Jason Momoa. Just want to make sure that they're different.
They're different.
What we're here to talk about today is a little bit about monitors and mosasaurs. We're at our exhibit called From Monitors to Mosasaurs, and you can see in our background we have a large mosasaur, which was a large sea monster that lived in Kansas in our Cretaceous Western Interior Seaway. And they're very common fossils that really showed up in the Cretaceous and very common here in Kansas. They're really cool because they were the apex top predators in the oceans during the time of, towards the end of the time of dinosaurs. So when there were lots of raptors running around on land, there were mosasaurs in the seaway. And what's interesting is we've always looked at these mosasaurs and wondered sort of exactly what are they? What are they related to today? And how did they become sort of the top predators in the ocean? Well, what's interesting is if you look at the mosasaur fossils, they look very similar to monitor lizards today. And so we brought our little cute monitor lizard, and what's interesting is there's lots of different kinds of monitor lizards. There's monitors that live in the deserts, monitors that live in the trees, and some of them get really fat and rounded, and they don't really look much like a mosasaur. But water monitors, and this is an Australian water monitor, they look a lot like mosasaurs. And so they've got this nice long head, they've got a long tail, they've got some slightly longer limbs than a mosasaur does, but they like to swim in the water. But they also, mosasaurs, unlike a lot of monitor lizards, are very long, and they actually look and move very snake-like. So that's why we brought Jason. Because interestingly enough, mosasaurs belong to a group called Pythonomorpha, because a lot of the early paleontologists thought that really the mosasaurs were related to pythons and were related to snakes. And so they were put into that group. And there's still arguments as to whether mosasaurs are more closely related to snakes or most closely related to monitor lizards. One of the cool things about them is that, like snakes, they have pterygoid teeth, a second row of teeth right in the middle of their upper palate of their mouth. But otherwise, their skulls look very much like monitor lizards, and they have limbs very similar to monitor lizards. So they're kind of interesting in that respect. One of the things that snakes and monitors have in common, if you look at these guys together, they both have forked tongues. Does that mean mosasaurs had forked tongues? I don't know. Probably not, but possibly. That's really kind of a fascinating thing to think about. These guys really like each other, huh?
Yeah, they're just pretty chilled out now. You think they smell weird.
But one of the interesting things that we like to look at here with our monitor lizards is we like to think about how these mosasaurs lived on a daily basis, how they swam in the oceans. And we know that they're carnivores, just like monitor lizards. And we had to get Raptor, because she's kind of small and at least able to be handled. We don't want to get the Komodo dragon. I'd like to see Alicia try to hold the Komodo dragon.
Yeah, I think
sometime.
that thing is taller than me, so.
But one of the things about raptors, you can look at this long tail, and what's really cool about it is if you look closely at the tail, it gets very flat, unlike...
Aw, and she poops.
Hey, thanks, man. Ma'am. But this tall, skinny tail has a bit of a crest on it, or a ridge. And that flatness with this ridge helps them swim. They basically use their tail to swim.
As she's trying to swim away from us right
And
now.
she's trying to swim away from me right now. But this is very much like mosasaurs, because mosasaurs have evidence of having a very thin tail, and they use their tails only to swim. They would take their feet and tuck them up next to their body and swim with just their tail. Pretty much just like Raptor and Rex do when they get into back into the water in their tank. So we really like to use our Raptor and Rex. We like to use our mosasaurs, our monitors. Wow, I'm really doing great, aren't I, today?
It's because you got pooped on.
It's just been, a really poopy morning, huh? So.
Hey, it's on my hand.
So, what's really cool is we can use our monitor lizards to envision and understand how mosasaurs swam in the oceans and how they lived. So they would use their powerful tails to be able to swim very rapidly. And what's really cool is monitors are mostly land-living things, but just like mosasaurs in the Cretaceous moved from land into the oceans and became very adept at being aquatic, swimming in the oceans, these particular monitors are doing that same thing. They're moving back into the water. They're in freshwater more than the marine realm now, but they are moving back and living more and more in the water, and so you're seeing the same adaptations to their tails so that they swim very similarly to what a mosasaur did. So we think they're pretty cool, even though, well, even these guys have a lot more of a elongated body and have a lot more movement that's a little bit similar to snakes. So, and we know snakes can swim in the water very well too, using their whole body as a tail. So, snakes, monitors, mosasaurs. It's a cool way to understand the past by understanding the present. We hope you enjoyed this. We had a lot of fun,
Watching us get pooped on is the
watching us
best.
getting pooped on it's really kind of fun. Well, especially for me, since I'm over here
Yeah,
letting it drop in front of me.
My hand's wet.
But so we hope you enjoyed this episode of A New Way to Museum. If you do, please subscribe. We enjoy having the chance to interact with you and have you as a part of our Thursdays.
Yeah, Thursdays.
All right.
Thanks.
Have a great day. Thanks for joining us in A New Way to Museum with the Sternberg Museum of Natural History. If you enjoyed this video, like it and subscribe to our channel. Hit the bell for notifications when we release a new video. Support us on Patreon for early access and exclusive content. You can also follow us on all our social media. Links are found in the description. Thanks for watching, and follow your curiosity to new discoveries.